Okay, so I'm back. Video number 4. We were talking about dynamics. Now we're going to talk about form. Form is also one that kind of gives people a little trouble. Form has to do with organization, the organization of a musical composition. Okay, the easiest kind of form that you probably already recognize is like a pop song. Think about a pop song. When the singer is singing a verse, that's one section. Okay, then they have a chorus. That's another section. The music is usually different and different words. Okay, but then you alternate. You have a verse, you have a chorus. You have a verse, you have a chorus. Those are two different sections. That's called strophic form, actually. Strophic just means the alternation of verse sections with chorus sections. Um, an example, if you know the Josh Groban song, You Raise Me Up. When I am down, when I am down, and oh, my soul so weary, when troubles come, and my heart burden be. That's the verse, and then he goes into a little bit later, you raise me up when I am on mountains. I can't remember the words. That's the chorus. And then remember, after that, he goes back and does another verse, and then he comes back to chorus. That's strophic form. That's song form, okay? That's a two-part form, verse, chorus. Sometimes you have verse, verse, chorus. Sometimes you have verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But it's still all the same. That's the easiest. That's one of the easiest forms to understand. We also have a form that we call two-part form or binary. Simple way to understand binary. You're listening for repetition and contrast. Is this section of music exactly the same as the previous section, or is it different? Okay? We label form sections using the capital letters of the alphabet. So, here's an example. Famous song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You love to use that. First section of music. Okay, that's just get that in your head. That's one section of music. We're going to call it A, just because it's the first section, A. All right, it's followed by another section of music. If this section of music is exactly the same as that first, it will be called A also. So the form would be A, A. However, if it's different, we label it B, and now the form becomes AB. So now listen, here's the second section. Oops, sorry. I hope you heard that that was a different music than the first section. Okay? So right now we have an A-B song form. Here's the first section again. Here's section 2. Different. Different melody. Different chords. Alright, now this song has a third section. Here it comes. That third section is exactly the same as the first section. So we're going to call that A. And I lied to you. I think I told you that was a two-part form. It's a three-part form. It's A, B, A. I hope that makes sense. That's called ternary. Two-part form would be the exact same, except that instead of repeating the A section, we end with a new section, the B section. Here's a very simplistic example. First section of Row Row Your Boat, right? We're going to call that A. Section 2. New material. We call that B. That's the end of the song. A, B. That's a two-part song. Binary. We call that binary. Think of your prefixes again. Bi means two, and ter is a derivative of tri, which means three-part. Two other types of forms, very quickly, are what we call through composed. This we won't see through composed until later, maybe around part 4, I think. But what that simply means is the composer never repeats any sections. Every section is new, totally new. So there's absolutely no repetition whatsoever. Everything contrasts. So it'd be like if it's a 5-section song, the form would probably be A, B, C, D, E. That would be how you would label that form because every section was totally new. That one's pretty simple. We'll talk more about that when we get into that period where they're dealing with that. Last form that we're going to talk about is called theme and variations. You've learned what a melody is. We said it was a tune, right? That's the same thing that a theme is. A theme is like a short little melody or short little tune. What a composer will do is take a theme and keep repeating that theme in each section, but changing it just a little bit each time. They're varying it, okay? So that's why we call it theme and variations. You can still recognize that theme. Some composers change them so much that it's really hard to recognize, and you have to be, you have to have studied music a long time to hear it. We won't be dealing with that. That's not up to you to do. But here's a very simple. Go back to our favorite song, Twinkle Twinkle. First section, call it A. Okay, next section. I've changed the tempo, which means how fast or slow I'm playing it, and I've changed the harmony just a little bit. We call that A prime with a little one dash up by the A. It's still the same melody, it's just a little different. Section 3. Same melody, but now I've changed the modality. Instead of being in a major key, happy, I turned it into the minor key, and I changed the dynamics. I made it a little softer, and I also changed the melody a little bit. And then a fourth section, that would be called A double prime, and then the next section, totally different again. I changed the rhythm, the beat, the meter a little bit, changed the melody just a little bit, so we got another variation of that form, of that theme rather. That's theme and variations. Hope this helps, guys.